Damn.
I doubt it. I don't
I
believe.
don't. Yeah, it's that's not true. Or at
There's
least
no
not.
way that the power draw for something like that would be absolutely ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
there's absolutely no way. Like
What was
I
the tweet
can't
I
see
saw?
that.
What was the wording for the tweet? Let me see it. It was so funny. Yeah, it said NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090 is 78% faster than RTX 3090 Ti, hits 3.0 gigahertz in leaked benchmarks. Hot, hungry, and huge, apparently.
Like they're gonna have to design new cases just for that card. Like
Seriously.
you cannot have that card unless you have a specific NVIDIA certified case.
Hot, hungry, and huge.
That sounds like an advertisement for an adult website. But
I'm about to say, yeah.
That's how. Think if I had a girlfriend, I want her to describe me that way.
Oh,
That'd be a
Chin.
compliment.
Oh, Chin.
We're not live yet, are we?
We are.
Are we?
we
We're
are.
live right now.
Oh.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are live right
Yeah, we're
now.
live.
Oh,
Oh,
I told you I
That's
was
so-
starting the stream.
I'm just goofing.
We are-
that is
we
so
are-
funny. I was not
we are in
prepared for that.
5/9 after dark. Just,
Oh my gosh.
God, it's
These
only
YouTube streams
10:30
are lit.
a.m. my time, and we're already going
was-
with this right now. So, all right,
I wasn't ready for that.
all right, you guys ready?
yeah.
Yeah,
at least
guess
somehow
so.
make the intro professional here before we all just live out and everything. All right. What's going on, everyone? Tallen back here again with the 5-9 Direct Waypoint Podcast, joined by the crew, LittleBobby, Lethal, and Chin. Go and say hello, guys.
Yo.
Hello.
All right, so we have lots to talk about, spicy stuff, including one from our little own Bobby there, who got into some heated debates, or maybe he thought they were just W's across the board. We're not really sure. We'll get into that later. But if you happen to be new to the podcast or to the channel itself, make sure you like the video if you happen to enjoy it, and leave a comment in the chat as always. Also, if you happen to want to see what we do on the daily, make sure you follow us over on the 5-9 Direct Twitter, not the 5-9 Gaming Twitter, the 5-9 Direct Twitter. It links all down in the description below. Make sure you check us out. We post a lot of stuff there. So without further ado, let's get into all the topics. But first, we got to talk about something very special real quick. Lethal, our very own Lethal right here, was able to go to PAX West this past week and got to check out a bunch of stuff. If you haven't seen the videos, they are on the channel right now. PAX Day 1 and 2, a bunch of different stuff. But let's know your thoughts, Lethal. What was the top 3 things that you personally either got to saw, do, anything like that? Mike's all yours. Go.
Okay, let me first. I have to start with this first. Big shout out to Cameron Hawk and just me and James to a bunch of really dope creators, a bunch of really cool podcasters, people who are journalists, like a really bunch of cool people. And I'm probably gonna. I already forgot some of the names because there's just so many people that we met. But I want to just do a big shout out to them because, dude, they made our experience just so much more fun, and we just had honestly like a really good time doing it. So again, shout out to Cam. I mean, top of the head here, there was Justin, Gabe. We met Jenny, Rachel. Oh my gosh, there's so many. There's Darren. I'm probably missing some more people, but honestly, just shout out Joseph, Luke. Sorry, now they're coming to me a little bit, Matt, Jacob, but we met so many cool individuals that I just want to say, if you guys are watching this, we would love to have you on the pod at some point whenever you guys are free. But that's probably like top experience I think that we had was getting to meet a lot of the cool people in the industry. So again, shout out to Cam. He killed it. He crushed it. The guy, he interviewed Reggie, man. He interviewed Reggie at PAX. So that's such a cool thing for him. So glad to see him going up. Aside from that, though, meeting the cool people, we got to play a lot of cool games, a lot of cool indie games. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but we did get to play. It was like 30XX, which James was like all crazy about. For those of you that are big fans of like Mega Man X, this is kind of a game that's pretty much heavily inspired by that. But it's cool. It has like a multiplayer component to it. So definitely check that out if you enjoy those styles of games. We got to play Mina the Hollower, Yacht Club Games, one of their upcoming games. I think it's coming next year, but it's really cool. If you're a fan of like the retro Zelda-like games, a little bit of Castlevania in that, you're definitely gonna enjoy that one. That was a lot of fun. So we got to preview a couple games too, like Wanted Dead was one of them. This is from the makers of I think it was Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive. So this is a really cool, like fast-paced action game, very flashy with combos, finishers, and whatnot. That was cool. And guys, I got to play Lies of P, and you guys know how excited I am when I saw Lies of P there. I got to play it. It's so freaking awesome.
So I saw this clip going around on Twitter. Is that placeholder dialogue real?
I have no idea. I hope not,
you know what I'm
because I don't know
talking
what
about,
that was. Yeah,
I saw
I
that,
did
yeah.
see that. I
You'll
did see
never
that. I
get
was like,
past me,
I was like,
rascal.
I was like, what is that?
And I'm like, that can't be it. That has to be just like, hey, we're putting this in as a joke for now. So we know
There's
that
no
that's how
way.
it's
I hope
supposed to
not.
be.
I mean, it doesn't really fit, but I mean, right? We would obviously have to see when the game finally comes out.
Rascal?
But no, real quick, I did get to play it, and I've been like, when I saw it, I was shocked. I was like, yo, Lies of P is here. I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, it's so good. I was a little afraid because I was like, man, this might not play as I kind of wanted to play, right? I mean, thinking of the Souls games, you want to have that really good experience. But it played really good, and it looked freaking beautiful. It's crazy. It's just a crazy thing that you're playing as Pinocchio and you're just taking out these guys, man. So no, I got to play a little bit of it. I think I got up to like a mini boss. And he destroyed me. He absolutely whipped my ass, and it was pretty bad. But it was really good though. Really good experience. Go ahead.
Did you play Sekiro?
No, I didn't play Sekiro yet. I got to get to it. I got to get to it.
Bloodborne?
Of course. Yeah, it's like it's like similar, very similar to Bloodborne.
Well, like the movement and stuff. Does it feel fluid? Does it feel like it
faster?
Because
It's faster. Yeah.
Really?
Mortal Shell was a very
No, I'm not faster. I mean, like it's in the vein of Bloodborne, where it's like I think a little bit more faster on the side of
Oh, okay.
faster
I was
pace.
like, it's faster than that. I was like, damn.
No.
Okay, I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn,
'cause
all
I
right.
feel like what's really like when that game comes out, like I definitely want to give it a shot. But what I feel is gonna either like make it or break it for me is like there was this game came out last year. It was called Mortal Shell, which was like super Dark Souls, like super. It was Dark Souls, but like a slightly different take on it. I thought it was really cool, unique. But the thing that held me back was just how almost delayed and dated the speed and the fluidity felt in comparison to like how From Software makes their games now, right? Because like Bloodborne feels great, Dark Souls 3 feels great, Elden Ring feels great. You go back to Dark Souls 1 and you're like, okay, I love this game because it's a classic, but definitely feels off. But I'm excited to try Lies of P. If it,
Chin, you'll like it. I'm for sure you're gonna like it. Again, it gave me very like Bloodborne vibes. Like I think you're gonna like it because of that. So, but no, it was really cool. So I can't wait. I mean, it's just one of those games where I'm like, that was probably my number one game that I was excited for. And when I saw it there, I was like, oh my God, I got to play this. But yeah, we got to play a bunch of games. And so I think, a mix of seeing the people and getting to play a lot of these games. Definitely go ahead and check out the videos on the channel because me and James did go ahead and kind of do a bit of recaps for each day to talk about a lot of stuff. A lot of really cool panels, man. That probably the third thing I'll say is that we got to see some really, really impressive panels. Cam did a bunch of really good panels. But I think one of the big ones that we took a lot away from it, I think it was the Reggie panel. He did a panel that he worked with Rogue Games. And they talked about with the developers, some of their upcoming games, and just I've always talked about it on this podcast how much I love dev diaries when they talk about like the the inception of the reasonings for their games and whatnot. So just hearing a lot of developers kind of talk about their games, what influenced it, what inspired it, what they had to do to make it. Some of these teams are one person. And then you look at them on the stage, you're just like, man, just you did majority of that game. You might have had some like outsourcing help, but like majority of that came from you. That's insane. But a lot of really good games. So if anything, I walked away from this trip as someone who I keep saying, like, I have to play more indies. I suck at not playing enough indies. I definitely got to play, again, at least I try a lot at the PAX West that I'm definitely going to be playing a lot more indies going forward. But there's a lot of really cool ones. And definitely go check out the videos because we talked about so many of them. But yeah, PAX West is awesome. I can't wait. You guys have to try to go to one maybe next year. We have to have like a group go.
I will try to go to PAX West. I used to live in that area, so I mean,
I know you have to go to definitely Seattle one time. Go back home, visit.
Now that I
at the same
know
time,
what it'll cost, I can make sure to be prepared for that next time.
Just save up for TGS next year.
Tokyo Game Show, guys, come on, let's go! Come on, Find My Direct Group TGS, let's go!
No more packs. Let's
Dude,
go. We'll
I'm
all crash
super hyped for next week.
That might be the next
I'm
trip.
so super hyped for this week. It's gonna be so awesome.
Tokyo Game Show.
I can't wait to go to Tokyo Game Show. It's gonna be awesome.
I'd say let's do TwitchCon because we stream now. But where do we stream? YouTube.
We'll do
YouTube
VidCon.
Let's go.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jared,
what's
you got
up, Cam?
Hey, Cam, what's going on, man? It's been a while since we've seen you in the stream. What's going on?
Cam, I can't wait till you come back on this podcast, Cam. We have to get you back.
We gotta get you back on here sometime.
He has to come back. Cam, I could sit here and we could just have a whole 20 minutes of me just talking about how Cam is amazing, but I'm not gonna waste all of our show with that. Cam knows he's insane, but I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait, dude. Next year PAX, if we can all go, or a lot of us can go from here, dude, we'll enjoy it. It's gonna be so much fun.
Hey, as long as plane tickets don't cost me $2,500 just to get back there, I'll 100% go. Could be, you know, normal prices are like $800, $700 for me to go back. So if it's that price, perfectly fine. I'll
That
go
was
back.
like the biggest deterrent when I saw the plane was like $600. I was like,
Dude, the plane ride, 6 hours, man. Oh my god.
Oh, poor
Struggled.
baby. 6
Oh my
hours.
God,
That's
dude,
so
6
far.
hours.
I don't want to
Tallen,
hear it.
6
I
hours
don't
for
want
me
to
was
hear
so
it.
brutal. It was so brutal.
I don't want to
man.
hear
And I
it.
sat, no, and then I sat in the middle.
You have plain peanuts.
Oh my god, no.
He's like, I had to
Dude,
charge my
it was
stream
so
deck
bad.
once
They
on the
give you,
trip.
like,
No, I
just
didn't even
had
take
to
it. I
charge it
should have
once.
taken it. It was so bad, man.
What kind of food they have? They just microwave a hungry man for you in the back, like bring it to you.
I wish I got cookies. I mean,
Maybe
that's-
like one of those
that's good too.
7-Eleven egg salad sandwiches, you know?
Oh, man.
God.
Oh, we're talking
Oh, that's
Listen,
You
try.
don't
exactly
even
what
you don't
gave
even
you
get
food
that stuff.
poisoning the next day.
You don't even
That's
get that
exactly.
stuff anymore, honestly.
Yeah, haven't they cut back on so much stuff and everything like that? Like they give you for free.
Yeah.
you know you
It
paid
depends on the
hundreds of
plane ticket.
dollars.
When so because I went to Rome and I took what was it? It was a plane. It was a German airline, and they were awesome. I think it was like, I'm not even gonna try the name because it's very German, but they were so cool. They were like, "Would you like some wine?" I'm like 18 at the time. I'm still like, we're still like sitting in the United States. They're like, "Would you like some wine? Would you like some Baileys?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take some coffee creamer. It sounds tasty." I guess real Baileys has just alcohol in it.
Yes.
I know that at the time.
Yep.
Oh shit, I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
I was in
Yeah.
for a very that
It's-
was a harsh reality.
It's interesting. Like if you fly, because like my family has flown to like Iceland and parts of Europe and everything like that, and they've all flown different airlines, whether it's France, you name it. But so many airlines just blow U.S. airlines out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
Like
It's insane.
Like anytime I fly ANA or JAL, which are the two main Japanese airlines that fly out of here, like we'll get seated and everything like that. They'll come over, they'll bring us a hot towel for everyone to, you know, clean your hands, wipe your face and everything like that. They offer you like full on snacks and full drinks and everything like that. Then you get the dinner menu and everything. It's just like, yep, this is normal. I don't have to pay for any of this stuff. So
Then you
Sounds
are in
nice.
the U.S. and you take Spirit, and it's literally the Thunderdome.
yeah.
You know,
They
you're
will
just like
drag you out by your ankles.
like people
They'll throw you on the
wrapping
tarmac.
people
Oh my
wrapping
God.
barbed wire around their hands just to, you know, like go at it. Like,
They like run you over with the front of the plane, just like it's just
stray dogs running up and down the aisles of the plane.
tie you to the back.
Okay.
What's going on?
Let's
fins.
let's go ahead
Yeah.
and move on to the next stuff then. So
I
the next
know.
thing that we
We
get to
got a
talk
little
about, which
distracted.
could
My bad.
definitely get spicy. So Xbox and PlayStation,
Oh,
parents are
boy.
fighting again, folks. The parents are fighting again. The gloves are off this time. Not really. I mean, it's pretty much just like a one said thing, and then it's more the internet. The gloves were off, and the internet, I swear, when I woke up and saw everything, was on fire. So
The
if you
Barbed
don't,
wire around.
it was pretty much on fire. So if you let's give a little background story. I'm gonna let Bobby go into this because Bobby
give this
had
to Bobby,
some
man.
well, technically, according to the internet, Bobby, you're not even supposed to be here anymore. We're supposed to have let you go already. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
apparently
watch
I
what you say until you say something libelous about Xbox right now. Okay?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
like
You're on
apparently I'm saying when I state that factually JRPG sales on Xbox since Xbox, like the end of Xbox 360 to the current day, have been lacking, which is backed by sales data, like clear hard sales data. I'm being libelous towards Microsoft.
Flat
Also,
wrong.
yeah,
yeah, I'm just incorrect. The data is, you know, fake news. So
Sony fanboy
Science?
right here, folks. All right,
I know. Look at- I'm wearing a
get
blue
in.
shirt.
Let's give the background details, then you can give more about what happened with you. Okay, so if you guys don't know, so it's Sony and Microsoft, right? They're always been fighting and everything like that in terms of sales and businesses and everything. It's typical normal business stuff. You know, a lot of the people on the internet are going to make you think that, you know, one really cares about them more than the other. Hate to break it to you. Both are businesses. They are going to do whatever is best for the business, regardless. That's how the world works. I know people hate to hear that, That's just the way it is. So as you guys know, Microsoft, Xbox's big thing is their Game Pass. They have already stated they don't care where you play games, whether it's on the Xbox consoles, the PC, or anywhere, basically, even on your phone, as long as you are part of the subscription service that they have created. That is what they want you to do. And then you have Sony, who is mostly known for their exclusives because they like to buy a lot of that exclusivity. And that is how the current situation is right now. The reason that you have someone like Sony as well, though, that has their quote unquote new subscription service, which is the different tiers, Essential, Premium, and what was the other one? Plus, essentially? Extra plus, Essential Plus, and then Premium, right? But we already knew that they were never going to do day one exclusive games like Xbox does because they don't have the money for that, right? And Xbox has already stated in the very beginning when this started that it was at a loss, right? I don't know if it's still at a loss to this day, but I'm sure they're still somewhat losing money on certain things. We do have that data. They're never going to release that kind of stuff unless they obviously see a huge surplus. Then they'll release that data and be like, hey guys, look, see, we're at a surplus now. It's typical business 101 stuff, right? We've seen it all the time. But anyway, but one of the big things is that Activision is currently being bought up by Microsoft, and that is going through its process right now, essentially, right? Where all these different governments and everything like that are looking over it and everything, saying like, is this going to happen? Is this going to happen and whatnot? So most people still think it's going to go through. I'd be very shocked personally if it didn't go through, but hey, that'd be some good news to talk about right there. So make sure you sub to the channel if you haven't already. But one of the big things is that would mean that Microsoft would get exclusivity to Call of Duty. And as you know, Call of Duty has been on multiple platforms for years. Not a couple years, like years, like a ton of time. And that would be a lot of revenue to be lost if it was just for Call of Duty. Forget the Xbox side or the PlayStation side, but how much of revenue would be lost because you'd lose all those players being able to play it and everything like that, right? I think the end game, though, that I have seen from a lot of people that have a more, I guess, cool-headedness to this is that Microsoft wants Xbox Game Pass on PlayStation, essentially, is what they want. That's what a lot of people are thinking, at least. So anyway, but regardless, so as of right now, in terms of Sony's current contract with Activision, because that still has to be fulfilled, right? It's supposed to go for another 2 to 3 years, if I remember correctly. And then, according to Jim from PlayStation, is that Microsoft offered them 3 more years of exclusivity for Call of Duty on PlayStation. Now, when I think, from what I understand, that is exclusivity in terms of how things have been going right now. So I think it has to do more with like open betas and things like that, if I'm correct. And then after that 3 years, so in total of 5 years, 2 years left on the original Activision contract, and 3 more years on this new one if they accepted it, then Call of Duty would not have anything exclusive. It would just simply be to Xbox and to PlayStation, because apparently when this all started, Xbox claimed that they would not make Call of Duty exclusive, and now they're saying it's only 3 years until is exclusive for them or whatever, right? Again, this is, we don't know the details of their talks and behind private doors and everything like that regardless. So that is the current staying situation. And then Jim basically came out on Twitter and was like, hey, Microsoft, it wasn't a good chunk of years that you promised. It was only 3 years. And then he basically stopped, and the fanboys went crazy on both sides. Fanboys just went absolutely nuts. That's essentially what happened, right? So a lot of us who don't have, by the way, we have no stake in this whatsoever, right? All of us own consoles, PCs, everything. It doesn't matter what platform some game's on. All of us are going to be able to play it because we do have that luxury to do it, but we understand that a lot of players don't. So, Bobby, what happened after that?
Oh, okay. So with what happened with me, like, I get it. Like, there's going to be exclusives. There's going to be acquisitions, right? I have stated since this announcement went out that I don't think Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard is a good idea, because Microsoft has a very, very long history of buying up one thing, and then they see they can get away with it, that they buy up the next thing and the next thing until virtually all competition is gone. And Microsoft is now trying to do that in the gaming space, in my opinion. Like, they did that to so many companies in the late 80s through the 90s and early 2000s. There are so many awesome, innovative companies that are gone because Microsoft bought them and then just shut them down and either absorbed their thing or just completely shut it out because they were like, well, we can't figure out how to use this, right? So I don't want to see that happen with video games because sure, there's Sony too, but there's also Nintendo. Like, and Chin knows, like, I love my PlayStation. I love God of War. I love, Last of Us. I love Horizon, Spider-Man, but all of those can wait. If a Zelda game comes out, I don't give a fuck. Like, if a Zelda game comes out, I am going to play it, and I do not want to see the guys who took over the computer market take over the video game market in the same way and basically just squash all competition by brute force. And I feel like if the Activision Blizzard thing goes through, there's a chance it's going to happen. So what happened with me this week was that I stated to a gentleman on Twitter who may or may not work for IGN that I said, sir, you have a weak argument, because he was saying, oh, why Call of Duty can go exclusive. Yeah, Sony, you want to talk about that? What about Final Fantasy? I said, that's a weak argument because nobody buys JRPGs on Xbox. Xbox is like the first person shooter, right? Call of Duty, Battlefield, a lot of people play that, and FIFA box for most people. Like, that's what it is. Let's be real. And it's okay. Like, right, and Halo 2 until, recently.
Forza. Can't forget Forza.
Well, Forza, if you like racing games, that's cool. Like, I'm whatever. I don't care for them. But so it was good old Destin. And, I've always been like okay with Destin. I've always been like, the last like year and a half, this guy's been pretty hard on that Game Pass train. Literally Game Pass is the greatest thing to ever exist. And I know he loves his Xbox, but basically the same thing comes up. Like, I say that's a weak argument. Call of Duty sells more on PlayStation. JRPGs tend to sell on PlayStation and not sell on Xbox. Like, when it came to Final Fantasy 15, that was the biggest case study right there. The last mainline Final Fantasy game that came out sold like 10 to 15% of its total sales were on Xbox, and like 70% were on Sony, and then the other like 20% or whatever was on PC, right? Yeah. So it's very clear what group of players prefers JRPGs, right? And we're not even talking about Nintendo players, right? Lethal knows, like Xenoblade or Xenoblade, right?
Yeah.
Like that kind of like Nintendo players and Sony players tend to like the JRPGs better. So anyway, Destin decides to retweet that, and a lot of people who follow Destin are how to put this slightly, fucking insane fanboys for Xbox.
So light, so gentle.
And look, I get it. Like, I have said so many times, I want Xbox to have a W. I want to see this. Like, what I want is, instead of them buying up every studio under the sun like they're trying to do, is take some of the studios that they've already bought and put something out that's worthwhile, because they haven't done that yet. And it's been like 3 years. Like, that's all I'm saying. You have all these studios you've had for years now, and you haven't put anything out because there were already studios that were kind of like getting to the point where they're let's put it this way, like Bethesda, washed, right? Let's be real here. Compared to like the Skyrim days, Chin, are you going to tell me that's the same Bethesda?
No, Bethesda. Yeah, right? I mean, look, they've done some good things, I guess, in the last 10 years since Skyrim came out, but like Fallout 4 was good. Fallout 4 was
it was okay. It was okay. It's not bad.
Or not New Vegas. 76 was
real bad.
A train wreck for a long time.
Yeah.
It's making a very slow recovery. I mean, like, it's a good game, but they're never going to get a player base back. Like, it's not Destiny. No. It's not No Man's Sky, where it's getting revered for its comeback, right? It's no one's going to go back to it. But yeah, that's they bought Bethesda, and it's like, okay.
And speaking of No Man's Sky, and I've said this to Chin so many times, why does Starfield just look like a worse No Man's Sky? Like, No Man's Sky, I can hop in my ship and then drive right to space, and there's like no seams.
Isn't it because they refuse to not use their own engine. I feel like isn't
Yeah,
isn't
because they're trying to save money, so they use the Bethesda engine
right, which
that they've been using for
massively is
like
an upgrade.
20 years. And they upgrade it, but there's only so much you can do with an engine that old. There's only so many upgrades you can make before it just can't handle things anymore.
Right, because the natural step after that would be to then remake the entire engine, right? Like you'd have to make a brand new engine essentially, right? Call it 2.0 if you want to, essentially. So
Hey, well, I'm holding out hope that Elder Scrolls 6 is a masterpiece. Okay, like I'm really banking on that. I'm not
all right,
pre-order
all
it.
right. Someone clip it now.
really hope
He's waiting
not-
for it.
not-
Let's see how well it goes. But
Because Elder Scrolls, they bought ZeniMax too. Elder Scrolls Online is great.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic MMO. Like as far as MMOs go, it's solid. It's a bit generic, but like it does what it sets out to do. But Xbox, I'm pretty sure Xbox owns them now too, right? Because ZeniMax is under Bethesda, or ZeniMax is separate.
I think it's
They own
separate.
ZeniMax.
I think
I
it's
know
separate.
they own ZeniMax
I think
though.
it's separate.
Yeah.
Cam, you had a question that everybody asked me.
Oh yeah, I was.
Everybody
yeah,
asked
pick it
me.
up. Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah.
Everyone
Why?
knows that.
He said, then why does Sony keep making them exclusive? No one on Xbox is going to buy them anyway. Sony's had a relationship with Square for years.
Yep.
And if
They're both Japanese
Microsoft,
companies.
they're both Japanese companies, and Tallen knows he lives in Japan. Like those old school businesses, they're gonna just like kick back to each other. That's just how it happens.
Oh, yeah.
On top of that, the other thing my biggest thing that I say back to anyone who asks that question is Microsoft has infinite money, like literally GTA infinite money glitch. And what are they worth? They're worth 25 times what Sony's
Something
worth.
like that. They're in the trillions, if I remember
like,
correctly,
yeah,
right?
Trillion-dollar company.
Yeah.
So yeah, like if Microsoft thought that Square Games were going to do that well, wouldn't they just outbid Sony?
I feel like that 10 to like let's say that number's hard, right? That 10-15% that bought Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
I feel like Sony's looking at that and being like, I could take those players. That 10 to 15% is going to do me better. And Microsoft's probably just looking at it and being like, well,
Yeah,
10 to 50%.
exactly.
a very small number. That's a very small number of people who have our Xbox who bought that.
So I do.
Yeah,
And
it was
they
like
could
1 million purchases of Final Fantasy 15 versus like 7 million
also-
on PlayStation.
I feel like another point too is if Xbox really like we could take that argument even further, right? Is like, why isn't Xbox trying to get Final Fantasy 14 on their console? Isn't it on PlayStation?
That actually is on Microsoft 100% because Square is like, Square wants to keep using their servers and Microsoft says we want it, but we're only using Microsoft servers.
Mm-hmm.
And Square's like, then no, because we're using our servers because that's what the game runs on.
One thing I quickly want to talk about, because you brought up, Bobby, this is just general information for everybody. So when you talked about the Square to PlayStation relationship and how it's old Japanese guys and everything like that who are still the top heads of everything, that is not just in the gaming space, by the way. That is literally everywhere here, right? Schools,
I mean, that's everywhere
government,
here too.
I know, but especially in Japan though, right? Schools, governments, businesses, you name it, right? There are so many things that are so old. Like you think the US or other parts of the world have these like old fashioned ways of doing certain things. No, Japan takes it back like an extra 30 years sometimes, right? So you have, even though you have like Jim, who's the CEO of Sony and everything like that, now he basically has to still answer to the board of, I guarantee you, 70-year-old plus dudes who are so old-fashioned that are like, we've had this relationship with Square for so long, we are not breaking it. They are that stubborn. And again, it's not just in the gaming space. I see it in schools where I teach. I see it in other businesses everywhere. So I am 100% not surprised that Sony or whoever will continue to buy and try to keep things the way that it is, right? I mean, if it wasn't for Game Pass to an extent, it would have, I don't think Sony ever would have changed the whole PlayStation Plus the way it was, right? They would have kept it the way it was, right? And they never would have tried to compete with the competition because they just want to keep things the way it is. It's essentially what it is. So that's not saying, that's just general information that I want people to kind of understand that is the way Sony thinks, right? Because even though you see a tweet from Jim or you see a tweet from X person or something like that, you don't know who's behind them dangling the strings Pinocchio style, essentially, right?
Yep.
It
that
is literally
board controls
old
everything they do.
I was
Japanese
going to say, we have
guys.
to remember they have to please two different groups of people. One, us, the consumer, and then their shareholders.
Yep.
And that is
The
that is
shareholders
And who
and
do
the
you think
board.
they care about more? Shareholders.
Oh yeah, the
Shareholders.
Oh
shareholders.
yeah, shareholders, right?
Every
So
time.
I just want.
I think too. Cam put another good comment, and I mean, I think Xbox is at a place where they too know that JRPG fans isn't their biggest audience, but they still want to grow that catalog, which is why we're seeing like Persona come to Xbox Game Pass. And I mean that's a good point, right? Like,
That is,
of course, I feel like
Very
Xbox does want to grow that,
Yeah.
but I
Why
also feel
wouldn't
like
they?
maybe they understand that it will be a slow growth and that it's not maybe to them again, it's not worth putting that money in
and who's
right off the bat.
And who's to
to
say
get
that
those
the people
fans.
in Microsoft, like, you know, we see the face of
I'm no
Xbox.
shareholder.
Who's to say that the people behind him aren't the puppet string saying like, that's a pretty slow growth. We don't know if we want that really, or we're not gonna give you as much of our deep pockets as you
I mean,
might
that's the thing,
want
right?
to
Like,
do
money-
that.
money
right?
talks.
Money
Yeah.
talks. Money talks
talks.
across the board. It does not matter. So regardless of what side you're on when it comes to Xbox and PlayStation, that's the reality of it, right? It's that this is a business to both sides. They're going to do whatever they think is best. You can say they have to care about the consumer. Yes, to an extent. But guess what? If people keep still either buying these games or subscribing to this service, they're not going to change anything. They're not.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
not. Unless they saw some huge dip in sales. And when I say huge, I'm talking like 50% or something like that. Then we would start to see change like that. But Sony, for years and years, especially in the Japanese market, when it comes, we'll stick to the JRPG side of things. They have seen those sales be consistent and probably grow. Obviously, we don't have the numbers of that or anything. So they're going to be like, all right, let's keep this exclusive here. So I do find it interesting to know that something like Crisis Core, though, is going, or no, is Crisis Core going to Xbox? The new-
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
I like
Okay.
that.
I do find it interesting. That's
is-
going to Xbox.
That is one, yeah.
But
That's that's going to be a really good litmus test for.
that could be, that could be a good test
Yeah,
right there for
that's
them,
what I was
right?
gonna say, yeah.
And that's what I've been saying is because a lot of those guys are like, well, then why is Crisis Core coming? And I was like, maybe Square's going, hey, it seems like there's public demand now on Twitter, which is not a place, by the way. Don't forget that. It's not a place. Just because you're on Twitter and you see things that are fed to you to reinforce your opinion, it doesn't mean everybody wants JRPGs. Like, if you want them, that's awesome. Like, I want you to have
If you
them.
want them on Xbox, you better hope people buy it this time around.
Yeah, you
That's
better
the big
buy
thing.
it and not play it on Game Pass. You better buy it.
That too is, I wonder what these companies think of. Like, I don't know how many Square, like straight Square Enix games, not games just published by Square, right? But like developed by Square Enix. How many are on Game Pass, right? Like, Final Fantasy 15 was on Game Pass, wasn't it?
Well, I'll tell you
I'm
this.
almost certain it was.
I was talking about
think
the
it
other
was.
day with the people on Twitter who were,
Talking.
Xbox,
Talking, right? Talking.
Yes. No. So one of the things I said was that a like you said, a litmus test, right, Chin? There's a way that some companies have come out and been like, Xbox is great for us, and you know who that is? That's the indie companies. Because their games get they get 250 grand to put their game out, so they recoup their costs because they were like a studio for people, including like, and then Xbox is doing promotion for them, going, hey, this is coming to Game Pass, try it, and you're never gonna have heard or played that indie game otherwise because Game Pass came out and was like, hey, like Tunic, I would have never heard of or played Tunic, and I thought Tunic was great, and I think Xbox Game Pass is awesome for that, but when you see that versus Outriders was a pretty big, I wouldn't call it AAA, but I'll definitely say AA. It was a pretty big game. That came out on Game Pass, and those developers straight up said, we're pretty sure that we didn't meet our sales goals because of, they didn't name names, but they said because of games that include Outriders, or because of services that include Outriders as part of a paid subscription, was like their word for word, because they didn't want to say because of Game Pass, because they had the money from Game Pass, and I'm sure they're under NDA, but they basically said, hey, because it came to a paid subscription service where people didn't have to buy it, we didn't hit our sales numbers, so we haven't even been reimbursed yet. Like,
and honestly, it's like a double-edged sword, right? Because look at Outriders. I would be tempted to buy a game off Game Pass. Like, if I had an Xbox and I like Game Pass to try the games out, I'd be tempted to still buy the game if it was good. And Outriders wasn't good.
Yep.
So you gave people a free chance to find out your game sucked. And you're screwed at that point, because people are going to be like, I don't even want to play this for free. Like, why? Like, why would I even consider buying this game?
Yeah.
They're not
Exactly.
going to tell their friends, you got to buy this. You know, it's cross-platform. It's worth it on PlayStation.
Right.
You can't play it for free like I can, but buy it on your PlayStation. We can play together. No one's
Well,
going
and
to tell their
one
friends to
thing,
buy it.
one thing I also remembered, as I saw this coming across a couple times on Twitter, of course, of all places. But I saw that Final Fantasy, because I saw Cam's message here saying that almost all the Final Fantasy games are on Game Pass, which is great. But
Yeah,
I heard though that Final Fantasy 13, I believe, is not going to be on Game Pass soon, right?
Yep,
Because that
they're taking it
contract
off.
is up, right? And if I remember
Right.
correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, Microsoft stated this themselves from the beginning that things would stay on Game Pass as long as the contracts continue to be renewed and the contracts allowed them to be on there. But the moment they're done and they are not renewed, then they will be taken off of Game Pass, right?
Yep.
If I'm correct. Yeah. Okay. So
Yes,
I wanted
that's
to
exactly
double check
how
on
it
that.
At
works.
the beginning, they always take things off and move it, and they try
yeah.
to be like, "Oh, here's what's coming next month," or
Yeah.
just like PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and PlayStation's
sides
gonna do
doozies.
that in a
both
year,
sides
too.
doozies. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it's gonna happen in a year with like Stray and all that other stuff that came to PlayStation, right?
Yeah, and I've seen like Red Dead come and go and things like Cam.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen things come and go.
And that's absolutely going to happen. The contracts are what makes the service happen. But think about that: is Square looking at this going like, this, you know, like the game's out, but it's not increasing sales and it's not really making us
Exactly.
money
Yep.
having it on Game Pass, or at least as much as it would have made if we just sold it in the first place.
Yep.
So we're taking the contract off.
But also, let's not forget, like the whole crux of this argument was because like we're comparing Call of Duty to JRPGs at this point, and that's
Right.
such
Yeah.
a bad comparison.
It's a
Like,
huge, it's a
you know
very
that's
different
so
comparison.
bad.
Yeah.
Call
Yeah.
of Duty is like, just as a franchise, one of the highest selling games of all time. Like,
Yep.
just if you were to put Call of Duty as a name and the amount of millions that it sold throughout the decades that it's been out, like,
Yeah.
Almost be in the
I'm
billions
sorry,
right now.
like everyone knows that it dwarfs Final Fantasy VII Remake. It just
Oh,
does.
yes, easily. Yeah.
And so to be like, well, you know, you have Final Fantasy, we can get Call of Duty. It's like those are not comparable, and you know it. Now, Now,
that'd
if
be
it was
like
something
if the
PlayStation had Battlefield only, which of course has gone downhill since. But
Oh,
let's,
don't even
you
bring
know,
that up,
we're
dude.
just
You are
making an
opening
I mean,
old
so is-
wounds
so
right
is
now,
Call of
Jim.
Duty.
You're opening
where
wounds.
we going?
But I'm just saying, right? If
Yeah,
PlayStation
yeah.
had exclusivity to
Ugh.
Battlefield and Xbox had Call of Duty, then that's fair, right? Then it's like, well, yeah, you bought EA and you made exclusive only to a PlayStation console. You know, of course, Microsoft's going to respond with Call of Duty being exclusive to its systems, but there's nothing really balancing the scales. Which, of course, right? It's a business. Of course, they're going to do that. I'm not saying anything about, oh, how dare they? But it's just like when people get upset, you got to understand why, because it's not really comparable
Well,
on
I
both
have
sides.
so going off of that though, I have heard, and some people have been theorizing. Again, this is all theory wise, right? We're not on the inside. We don't sit at the table or anything like that. But I have heard that people think that one of the reasons that it looks like Sony is kicking and screaming, which to be fair, they do. It does look like they are kicking and screaming. Yeah. Is that who did Sony recently buy? Bungie. What is Bungie known for right now? Destiny. What is Destiny?
Yep.
A live service game. What has Sony sucked at for years? Live services.
service.
So people are theorizing that the reason that they are trying to keep this COD exclusivity, or at least keep it on PlayStation for a good chunk of years, is to because they finally have started now trying to make all these live services. We've heard in the pipeline that throughout the internet and everything that they are trying to get some live services going by 2024, 2025, right? And so a lot of people are theorizing that they're trying to keep Call of Duty until they can get these live services that can replace the revenue that Call of Duty brings in. And that's not an easy task, though. That will take years upon years to do, and they have to make sure they do it right. First off, you have to have a good IP that everyone wants to play. You have to make sure the live service is good, and you have to make sure that it's something that people will constantly come back for. So I thought that was a pretty interesting way of looking at it as well, which would kind of make sense at one point. But again, we don't know what goes behind the doors. We don't know if they're sitting at the table and everything like that. The old dudes just might think, whoa, Call of Duty's leaving us. Well, Bacalhau, do it, keep it, make it fuss, all that stuff. So, who's to say?
And it really could be that maybe Sony right now is just trying to go like, give us as much time. Now, obviously, they're not going to tell Xbox this and Microsoft this, but Sony has been ramping up on their own, right? And they could be just trying to get that live service / like that big FPS out that might have a chance. And you know what? By the way, I don't care who it is. Microsoft, you want to do it? Anybody wants to just throw money at Respawn to make Titanfall 3, I'll buy your box. I don't care. Like,
I would love Respawn 3. All right, Respawn 3.
Respawn 3. Yeah. Respawn 3, the revenge-ing.
I think they can do it. I think they can do it though. They have such good IP, PlayStation. Like
they do, but like they need
potential. It's just not going to happen. Like you said, it's not going to happen anytime soon. So
no, if they said 3 more years, but that's on top of the other 2 years that are still in the contract, right?
Yeah.
Till November 2024, they have a contract, and then they said 3 more years after that. That's 2027. The impetus is on Sony at this point to know
and also,
we have
they're
5 years guaranteed, right?
Yeah. Well,
To make
I would say they're ramping up mobile too. Like we know they're going to ramp up mobile too, and we all know how crazy mobile is nowadays. So that's another potential big money maker right there. So they have their plans, but like you guys said, I think it is a question of will they be able to get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 that are successful? Because they did announce they had how many projects in the works. Yeah, they have so many multiplayer live service projects in the works.
Well, one thing they need to also keep in mind is that let's say they only did the 3 years plus the 2 years that are on the contract, right? So 2027-ish, give or take, right? Keep in mind, after this year's Call of Duty comes out, they are skipping a year, right? It's still not, it's not going to be yearly anymore. Yeah. So you've gone now from having 5 games to 3, right?
Yeah.
You'll have
maybe,
right? You'll have Modern Warfare 2, which is coming out this year. Warzone 2 is coming out sometime next gen only, right? If I remember correctly.
It is this year. It's supposed to
be this year.
Is it this year?
It's
okay,
soon. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so
sure
both of those are going to be out next year. There will be nothing, right? It's going to be the whole live service thing, right? COD's going to do its live service thing. That's done for years now, and then something else after that. We're not exactly sure what. So that's already into 2025 or 2024 then.
Yep.
Right. Then 2025 is a skip. Then 2026 would basically be the last game for them. So Sony has to Sony's not confident in their ability to make some game that can recoup those loss when the exclusivity goes away, right? And then the other side of it is Xbox gonna keep it on PlayStation like they said in the very beginning, or are they actually gonna go exclusive and just say nope, it's ours now, right?
I don't blame Sony for sweating beads. Worrying if they can compete. I mean, it's such a saturated market with what the most popular games are, right? Even if it's not a battle royale, right? Even if it's not just a straight up FPS shooter, but trying to compete with Call of Duty, with Fortnite, with Warzone, with Apex, with Destiny, who they'd be competing with the company they even own too now. I don't blame them for being dude, how what is something that's going to be fresh, new, and also familiar enough that people are like, oh, I'd love to try that out. There's so many things they got to think of. Don't blame them. That's a monumental task, and I don't have 100% faith they can do it.
I mean, based on their last live service stuff, I don't have faith in them to do it either. I mean, yes, they do have Destiny now. They have Bungie now for that, but
they do.
That doesn't always translate over properly. Plus, we have to hope that they don't pull a who made Anthem? I got on the names.
BioWare.
We have to hope that they don't pull BioWare where they forbid talking about the competition and everything. You cannot do that. You have to be able to talk about your competition. If you don't, guess what? It's gonna fail. Sony fails before it even starts, essentially, in that regard. So
you cannot enter the live service space right now without having discussions about what makes Fortnite and what makes Destiny work. You can't do it because those are the two, in terms of live services, those are the two juggernauts of live services. JC brought up, I think Sony's going for talent rather than giant acquisitions where all the talent could run away. Literally, Bungie was a talent acquisition. That is absolutely correct. That is one of the things Sony has been really good at. They are very strategic and very surgical with their acquisitions. They go, what studio has proved that they can put out stuff that is going to really just hit it out of the park in whatever specific genre or niche that they're aiming for, right? That's why they got Insomniac, right? That's why, they have Bungie now. They know.
But the other thing to keep in mind as well, though, is that for the general audience, right? What does the general audience play? They play your typical AAA games from EA and Activision and everything, right? They play your FIFAs, they play your Call of Duties, they play your insert casual game here that, and I'm not trying to make it sound like, those are bad casual games or anything like that, but most people will buy a console for those particular games. And then as a bonus, when they see that something like God of War, Spider-Man, something like that is available, to be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to try this out. Right. Yep. But your average kid who's in his teenage years or something like that, who doesn't follow the gaming news like we do, who isn't on Twitter all the time, isn't watching this and everything like that, they're going to just, see it and be like, huh, the Xbox system looks cool. I'm going to grab it and play this. Or, hey, that giant router of a PlayStation looks like this, right? That's going to happen. So we'll have to wait.
18-year-old boy wants to play Call of Duty. It's just.
Yeah, that's just how it is.
It is.
Buddy,
yeah.
You want to play
or Fortnite, right?
Or Fortnite,
or Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like,
so all the exclusives are meant to be, or I say the first party ones are meant to be more bonuses towards the people who own those consoles, because again, the majority of them own them for those games that they just happen to see in the window at a GameStop or Walmart or something like that, and that's what they buy, right? I mean, it's not rocket science. The data shows all of that, right?
Yeah,
that's
why. Just look at the sales chart.
Just look at the sales chart, right? Why do you think those games
look at the sales charts. Call of Duty is always up there.
They're always
even
up
if it's
there.
not good,
right?
Even when it's a bad
even if
Call
it's
of Duty.
No, like that's how it's every Call of Duty game. It's always
every single
incredibly high at every sales charts.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Vicky says nothing can touch the Xbox brand. I disagree with that. I think Nintendo is much more known worldwide.
I'll tell you what can't touch the Xbox brand. Talent.
That's true.
I hate you so much.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. There's some great stuff at Xbox.
Oh
There
my
really
God.
I'm making a dig. I'm making a dig. It's all jokes.
Someone's gonna take that way too serious.
You know why this doesn't 100% bother me? Because I buy Call of Duty on my PC anyways, if I'm being honest.
I don't buy Call of Duty anymore. Like, Call of Duty doesn't bother me. And I said earlier, Xbox has some incredible indies. Like, their indie houses they have right now are
Xbox
world class.
They are.
They're so good.
Yeah.
They're so good. But like their AAA stuff that's supposed to be the heavy hitters, that's where they're just like complete. Like, it's like if you go, hey, small studio, we're not going to pay attention to you. We're just buying you and just do whatever. That small studio full of really creative, talented people puts out something great. And then they go, okay, big giant, Bethesda or whatever studios they've purchased recently, like the big heavy hitters. You go, okay, so we're going to make sure that you have this. Oh, but you have to adhere to the new, or you have to adhere to the new way of doing things, which is the old Microsoft 6-month contractor status that they've had since the 90s. And I know that because one of my students that I teach music to is someone who worked at Microsoft in the 90s. And she's like, I had to do contracts like 4 different times before I actually got hired, and it's just awful. Like,
well,
they've been doing that since the 90s.
We talked about this.
I mean,
we talked about this before.
Like, I work at Apple, and that's the thing. Like, you get contract. Like, sometimes you don't even get hired on fully at the retail store.
That's
you get hired on
worldwide.
as a
That's
contract.
worldwide though. So many places don't want to fully hire people because that's more benefits that they have to pay out and everything. That's
something about it feels illegal because it's like, hey, I'm doing all this work and I get 0 benefits.
Yeah.
Oh, but you signed a contract, and it's
that was me at EA, man. I was a
good old
contractor
labor
for them.
laws, man. We used to be a proper country.
That's
But
that's a discussion for a different podcast.
That is a different discussion. But
Sorry.
I mean, one thing we've also talked about on this podcast multiple times as well is that Xbox is amazing when it comes to their indie scene and everything like that. But especially these last 3 years, though, it's always been, all right, this is the year. Xbox got all of exclusives and everything like that. It's ready to go. It's pushed back another year, right?
true.
And we understand. We understand the whole pandemic and everything. We're not monsters. We understand that it hit the entire industry and everything like that. But and then it happened the year after that. And then it happened this year. And then everyone's saying, oh, 2023, it's going to be the year. It's like, okay, we have to hope so. I mean, studies show that 2023 should be when a lot of these games start to come out. But who's to say? Well, first off, they have to be good, right? And 2,
They have to be good.
They have to be good. And then 2, what if something does get pushed back again or something like that? It is never set in stone that something can't get pushed back again, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I do hope these Xbox fans who spent so much money, like they bought a console, they're paying for a service, they deserve something good.
They do.
Anyone who's buying into any of these services, they deserve to get what they've paid for. But if
everyone got promised so big on Halo, and it was like,
we'll get into that in a second. We'll get into that in a second.
We haven't gotten to that one yet.
Yeah, that's our next topic we'll talk about here.
That's another one of the AAAs that
So there's some extra juicy information I did find out about Halo. But anyway, I guess to wrap up the whole PlayStation and Xbox One stuff though, right? You know, for everyone who's freaking out saying like this and this on whatever side you're on, guys, it's business. They don't. I know it's terrible to say they don't care about us. To an extent, they don't though, right? They care about their shareholders and they care about what makes them the most money, and that's what they're gonna do.
That's exactly right.
Any business. That's not just Sony and Xbox. That is any business in the industry. It is, especially when you're in the multi-millions and billions and trillions of dollars, right? You can say your small companies and everything can easily have that reputation of, liking your customers and always thinking about the customers and everything like that. But guess what? Sometimes you have to do what's best for the business.
Yeah, the second Tallen can replace us with interns, he will. Okay. You know it.
Damn, just pointing at me as the big bad man right here. Oh my God, damn it.
Hey, it's okay. You can get rid of me first for my libelous comments.
Well, I mean, based on the tweet, right? They say we should fire you. So, it's adios. Sayonara.
Sorry. Walk the plank, man.
Walk the plank.
I couldn't believe that. That was so silly.
That was so funny.
I honestly laughed at that. So I was on the train going home when I saw that. I was just like, oh my God.
I got hit with so many tweets and replies and all that. I didn't even see that. And Tallen is like, also look at this, and I saw it, and I was just almost crying, laughing so hard. I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen written towards me on Twitter. This person has
clearly you've never had the Nintendo Pokemon fanboys come after you. Oh, that was something that I never experienced before until recently.
That's why I make my Pokemon guide videos on YouTube, and
what's so funny about that comment is that it's like, hey, how dare you have an argument and opinion about something in the video game industry? You should be fired from your job where you give your arguments and opinions about the video game industry. It's like,
also, this person clearly doesn't know what libel is, because nothing I said could even be remotely considered libel.
Not even close. It's when people say like, hey, you're slandering and blah, blah, blah.
You guys make me want to start controversy now.
Now I've got the other owners of Five Nine calling me out. Thanks, Hydros. Thanks, Bobby.
Oh my! Well, you want to start controversies on Twitter now? Is that what you want to do, Lethal?
No, I said I think everybody has one, but has had one, but me now. I think it's my turn. I need to.
What did Chin have? What did Chin have?
Oh, Chin hasn't had one yet. Okay, never mind.
I had that thing on Twitter. Me should have to have one. Glasses, or I mean, on YouTube, but that was funny.
That's YouTube comments. That's
YouTube comments. No, that doesn't
even come close.
Doesn't count, dude.
Let's
just wait. Just wait. Okay, no. This is what Chin's gonna be. It's gonna be when Rockstar's next game comes out, GTA 6, and he's gonna defend that thing tooth and nail or something like that, and all of those haters are gonna come out and just be like, dude, it is such a cash grab and all this stuff, and it's gonna happen.
He's gonna be like Red Dead Online. He's gonna be like Red Dead Online died for this.
It's gonna absolutely happen.
Red Dead 2 is amazing, and you all know it. I know Lethal feels it deep down.
Nah, dude, Red Dead 1 is better than Red Dead 2.
I mean, I've been playing Red Dead is amazing.
Red Dead 1
is better than 2. I stand by it. I don't care what it says.
I really hope not.
I'm sorry, Tallen. No, it is not. It's not even close.
I'm not gonna.
I'd like to imagine it's gonna be way better
because it's not. Lethal, shut up. Red Dead 1 is great, but it is not better than Red Dead 2.
Exactly.
I hope not. I really.
By any stretch of the imagination. No, not even close.
How rose tinted are your glasses?
Oh my God. You guys are making me not even want to go back into Red Dead 1 now.
Thank you.
Crap, Cam's coming for me now. Cam, no, I didn't mean it.
You could be allowed and wrong.
Oh no, I have an opinion that someone else doesn't like. What are we gonna do? So.
Do your horse balls move in Red Dead 1? I don't think so.
Do they shrink in the cold? Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. You know what's funny is all of this stuff, all the technical stuff I've heard about Red Dead 2. That's the one that everyone goes back to, and I get it, right? Balls are funny,
detail, man.
Right? Hashtag Manscaped. Yeah, it's attention to detail, but why are we so fixated on the horse testicles?
You know how realistic GTA 6 is going to be? If you're a male character, you're going to have to do that sideways adjustment walk every few minutes when you're walking out in the sun.
Yeah, if it's super warm to detail. It's like 96 and you got to do the little side shuffle.
You're going to see if you're in third person, you're going to see your character just go
yeah, exactly.
Shit, trying to that's the detail I'm wanting. That is what I will defend tooth and nail in GTA and be like, they care about my balls, dude.
Yeah, they know.
What's up?
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on from all of this. So regardless though, Sony and Microsoft, this isn't over. They're gonna keep doing their back and forth business stuff. We'll see what happens eventually with contracts and everything. And
Jim Ryan and Phil Spencer cage match. Let's settle
cage
this
match.
once
Let's
and for
do
all.
it. No.
That's
Remember,
it.
no. It's got to be the cage matches with strings attached to both of them, and Microsoft and this old dude, Sony dudes doing the puppet strings.
All
It's
the
gonna
puppet
happen.
The board members.
The board members, gonna happen, right? So, all right, let's go to the next bit of information, which is pretty much gonna be our last one aside from the ending. But some other Microsoft news. I know it feels like we're picking on Microsoft, but we're really not trying to. But it's just.
Listen, we haven't had a single podcast where I think we were like just so happy to talk about them, and I feel really bad.
I
That
feel
might be
bad too
one.
because
It hasn't
if they
happened yet.
did something that I was like, yeah, Microsoft, I would be all over it, but they haven't.
Okay, so the biggest thing that was announced this past week or the week before that, I've lost track of time and everything now, is Halo Infinite. And you probably saw like the hashtag 343 and all that stuff. Halo Infinite isn't looking very good. It's coming up on a year old. They are now having a 10-month season pass, or season 2, I should say, right? They're doing some kind of winter, update thing and some free season pass for that, essentially, like that. But there's all this stuff that they are not, like, they've canceled flat out co-op split screen. They have basically pushed everything back. In terms of the amount of maps and everything that they have in the game is abysmal. The coding and some of the like online features and everything like that are not working the way they are. Desync is still a major problem, if I remember correctly. And it is just, everyone's just tired of it, right? They're just like, you've had Halo 4, you had Halo 5, and you had 343, or they had 343. Yeah, you are 343. You had Infinite, right? It's just like, you have not been able to deliver. I mean, the studio was literally made for Halo, right? It was meant to take Halo from the Xbox, or from Bungie, and keep it exclusive there and everything like that, right? And 343 hasn't really done that, right? I mean, and one of the most infamous things from their little stream that they had talking about all these updates and everything that they're going to eventually have, again, pushing everything down the road, right? Is that, the DNA of Halo is competitive, and that got memed to death. Oh my gosh, like the amount of the tweets and things about how they said it's in our core DNA ever since Halo 1, where we've been competitive the entire time. And I'm sitting here going, I thought you guys were all about the community and the whole, like, just the social features and everything. And people took that and made the competitive scene. That's the point, right? Like, you had the stuff from from your more social stuff, and people took that because it was a good foundation from the Bungie days, and they made that competitive. That is what allowed Halo to be quote unquote competitive. And people are just tired of 343 and what they're done with Halo and everything. There hasn't been any DLC in terms of the story stuff that they've promised. And there is one thing that that has been basically all but confirmed, is that a lot of this comes down to that during the development, after they actually decided to go with a real Halo game and not their hero shooter stuff like DICE tried to do, and look how much that failed them, and now Halo's in the same spot. But when they started building the game and everything like that, there were a couple of things. One, they had all these independent contractors that would only come in for a certain amount of time, and then they would leave. Now, I know, and anyone who tells you in the tech industry and everything like that, there are going to be contract workers regardless. We understand that. But Microsoft took it to a whole new level and did literally nothing but that for the most part, right? And then as they were building this game, they basically were making a pyramid of code, essentially, right? And the new people that would come in didn't know what all of this stuff was and had to learn it. And by the time they finally did learn it and started to be able to code a little bit more, they had to leave. And then the new contract people came in and everything like that. And now that the game is somewhat out, right, in order to go back in and fix something, they can't just take it out and fix it due to how the game was built. I don't remember the technical term for it. I'm going to find it after I'm done talking. But they have to basically dismantle it all and rebuild the entire quote-unquote pyramid that is the game of Halo Infinite to fix things. And that's what they've been working on for the entirety of 2022 for the most part, and of 2021 / all of up to now of 2022, right? So that's not an easy task, right? I mean, this game has supposedly been in development for 6 years before it was released, and now they have to try and break it down again to fix things with contract workers. Like, the majority of them are contract workers. Like, that is not easy. So it's just, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Do you? I guess the big question: do you think Halo can actually come back from this, or do you think it's done? Right? Like they'll cut their losses. I don't know.
You can't make art with contract work. Like it's art. Like that's what video games are. It is art, and you brought people in who had a vision, and then they're gone.
Then you let them go.
Bringing in other people who have to carry on that vision in some way, right?
You're like, hey, this person had a vision. Can you like finish that?
And they're like, what? Like,
yeah,
I don't know what they were doing here or here. I mean, I guess I could do this, and maybe that's what they were trying to do. Or like, and they're like, well, you could do what you want. It's like, well, I'd rather start. You know, dude, it sounds so convoluted to make a game like that. I mean, I guess like it couldn't have been everybody had to go, right? Like they probably had some people who stayed. I would hope at least. I feel like that's the only way they could have got it done.
Well, from my understanding, like the management will stay.
Yep, the management
and
will
then
stay.
like anyone on the floor level, right? Just the basic devs,
people building it,
like the artists. Yeah, the people building it are the ones who are just kind of like shuffled off, right?
Why?
I found the name of what I was talking about. It's called technical debt, also known as technical debt or code debt, which is what I described, where in order for them to be fixing this game for the last year, essentially, they have to go dismantle the entire thing for the most part and then rebuild it back in to basically rebuild the quote unquote game pyramid again. And that's what's been hurting Halo for a long time, especially with the engine that they're currently using and everything. So it's just like, what's going on? And the thing is that management is never going to be affected by how bad this does, whether it has to get canceled and everything. It's going to be the floor developers that are, kicked out. And I guarantee you, right? And I hope no one attacks. Well, you shouldn't attack anybody regardless, but I hope no one's attacking the developers, especially because I would bet a good amount of money that a lot of them care about Halo. Why would they try to work on a Halo project, right? They all care about it. They really do. And
imagine you're an aspiring like dev and you see, oh, I get to work at 343. These guys make Halo. I get to work on Halo. And then because you're only given 6 months, and by the way, contractors oftentimes aren't credited. So there's that. I was never credited at EA. My bosses were credited because they were management. But the contractors don't get credited. Then the work that they probably really did put a bunch of effort into gets absolutely dumped on by all of us because it's just a joke at how the management is running things over there.
Yeah. And we've talked about it before, right? The management just absolutely sucks over there. I mean, and in fact, I think one of the managers, like, I guess internally or something like that, like I've watched there are some Halo videos that I randomly get thrown in my recommendations. But apparently one of the managers lied about either the state of the game or where it was back when we saw that infamous trailer that showed off the face and everything like that, and everyone was like, this is a next gen Halo game, like what the heck is going on here, essentially, right? Craig essentially, right? So but that manager wasn't fired or anything. He just got moved around to a different position, right? And that's the thing, those positions 9 times out of 10, unless you royally F up, they're never going to feel anything. They're still going to make their hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. And the floor developers are the ones who are going to get let go because they're all on contracts and everything.
And that's where it just comes back to, that the business doesn't care.
No,
they don't care about the product they're delivering.
No.
They don't care about the product we're receiving and they expect us to pay for. And they don't even care about the people that make it for them to make them money. Like, it's just... And I don't know, man. How do you sustain an art-centered industry like that? Like, how do you manage that?
You don't, and that's why you see success happening at Sony and Nintendo, because Sony and Nintendo teams they're tight-knit groups, and every company is crunching, right? And that sucks. They don't I wish companies wouldn't do that. But that being said, those people who stay with those teams through that crunch, and then say after that, like, they get the product out and they go, you know what? That was hell. But I'm proud. And I look at the art that I was able to help create. Could be Breath of the Wild. We know that had crunch. Could be Rockstar. We know that had crunch. Red Dead had crunch. Could be, some of the Sony studio. Like, I remember watching the God of War documentary for 2018, and they straight up had crunch. Like, you could see Cory Barlog making that announcement.
I've
like,
never
hey, we got to
been on
work
board
late.
with this argument against crunch because like I feel like I hear that a lot from people who've never been in an art centered industry.
Oh yeah, I
Because
know.
it's a necessary evil for art. You do it because you love it, right? And
Yes.
if you love it, you
Mhm.
sometimes have to make sure that you put in the last minute work, even if it takes hours, 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day
Yep.
to get it done. Like when I did theater for years, every show was like that. Every show. The last 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks was like 12-hour days, like 6 days a week of just like, we have to get this like perfect. We have to.
Yes.
There's no other way.
And listen to the devs. I was gonna say just real quickly, like just to add to that, like listen to the devs too. A lot of them, they'll say like they don't mind crunching because it's their art, like you're saying, Chin. It means that much to them that they don't care to put in the 16 hours if it means that they get to show the world what they made. And that is such a like I always look at that as like that's a pretty powerful statement. Like I think a lot of us are like that, right? We're willing to put in those types of hours to show others what we've done, what we've what we've made and everything. So I think that it's an important thing to kind of remember when you think about like the whole like crunching and everything. Like it's bad, but at the same time, a lot of these people that are doing it, or at least that you kind of can see, when they talk about it, they're like, I don't mind doing it because I really want to show you guys what I can do, and I want to, especially if it's like a big brand like Halo. Could you imagine? Like people want to show all, like they want to be able to make those like visions and those creations come to life and stuff like that. So it's a pretty important piece.
Well,
so
and
to bring that up.
And the thing that they want to, and the goal for them obviously is that they can get rewarded for that, right? I mean, especially if you come on as a floor developer, right? You work your ass off, you do an amazing job, the product you release does well, you stick around to fix small little bugs and maybe a DLC or here or two there, and then their hope is that they get rewarded from that company that brought them on that contract, right? But when you have a bunch of companies that just do, especially again Microsoft, who is known for this, like you said, Bobby, they've been known since the 90s for this, to constantly just keep doing contracts. Guess what? The talent's going to go somewhere else, right? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some really well-known franchise back in the day developer who just was like, I'm tired of the contract stuff, now works for like either Nintendo or another company or Sony or anything like that, right? And they're like, you want to know why I left? It's because they kept saying, oh yeah, I'll eventually get it. And then they go to this other place. They delivered after the first product was released, and I got what I wanted, right?
The worst thing is, I mean, why would they not too? Because like the hours you put in it to just, again, like not to bring you back to the labor thing, but these people are working, like it's their passion, but they're working and they need to live, and like they're doing 6 months and doing crunch time and stuff. Imagine they get sick because they're overworking themselves, and because your contract, you don't have health insurance or things like that. Like nobody wants to stay in that place. Like nobody wants to stay in a place where they're not respected, where they're not given what they deserve, which is adequate. Like the company you're giving your hours to needs to take care of you. And Microsoft, like you're saying, like I guarantee there's so many devs out there who are like, I just didn't feel like cared for.
Yeah. And by the way, that's not just Microsoft. We've seen that with EA, Activision, everyone. We've seen that with everybody, basically.
I worked at EA. There was times where I had to work at 12 hours, 14 hours a day, 13 days in a row before I got 1 day off and then come back in and do it again.
I think there's smaller roles at Sony and stuff that do that too. Like I guarantee it's not just them. It just seems like Microsoft does it on a grander scale of like, hey, our entire development team for our biggest franchise ever is under contract.
Which is really weird to hear, right? Because whenever you hear of these other development teams and everything like that, like, yes, again, we've stated before, they have contract workers. Everyone does, especially near the end when you got to get things finished up and everything. But the fact that this game basically started with mostly contract workers, right? And then you see some of those higher roles also leave. I remember seeing in the news that creative developer or creative artist or whatever the roles were, right, were leaving slowly but surely. And I'm thinking to myself, that doesn't look good. I know people leave, come and go in positions. I get that. But when you see a pattern of that happening, I'm just like, this isn't looking too good for you guys. Like, what's going on here, type of thing. So
and it's like Chin said earlier, basically, Chin, what you said was you suffer for your art, right? You'll go through crunch. You'll do crazy things, right? Chin did it with his theater productions. When Chin was 5, I would get up at like 5 a.m. I would play my guitar for an hour. Then I would go downstairs and make sure there was like some toast or waffles or something that him and our other brother could eat before I got them up, got them ready. And then I would get on the bus, play my guitar the entire time on the bus, play it at school anytime that I had in between classes or whatever. Then I would get back home and I would not do my homework and I would just play my guitar all day, right? I would sleep in high school, Chin. You didn't realize this at the time. Maybe you realize it now. I would probably sleep for like 4.5 hours, 5 hours a night because I wanted to play my guitar all the time. When I was in college, I had to perform in 2 ensembles, especially my last 2 years. I had 2 ensembles. I had composition classes. I had higher end theory classes. I had music history classes. I had gen ed classes. I had practice for piano, guitar. I think I said composition work, right?
Yeah, you said that, yeah.
Okay, then I also had arranging work that I was doing. And then on top of that, people would ask me to score their short films and stuff, right? And then I had a job too where I taught music, right? When you're an artist, it really is a like you are going to work all the time.
Yep.
It really is. You will absolutely, like every one of my teachers was always working. And when you're an artist, you always work. And like, if you're really in that artist mindset, you get that. And I'm not saying that you should be forced to crunch. There are many studios out there where they go, we will not have crunch anymore, right? Bungie's one of them. Bungie straight up says, like, we're not doing any more crunch, right? They don't even do their raids on the weekends anymore because they're like, we don't want people to have to work on the weekends, right? Which I don't agree with because then they make everyone who actually has the weekend off, they got to play on Friday. That's weird to me, but okay. But aside from that, like you get studios that are coming out and saying that. Rockstar said that recently, like we're not doing crunch anymore. If it's an optional thing, if it's a thing where like, hey, those really dedicated people can stay and work late and make overtime, right, and really put their heart and soul, cool. I don't believe it should be mandatory anymore, right? Because people do have expectation of a life, but real artists most of the time are just in crunch mode all the time. Like I've seen Chin do it. I've done it, right? Every musician, like that's a serious musician I know has done it. Every music teacher I've ever had has done it. Every person, like I know a lot of people who work in film and they all do it. Oh, yeah. Like film is ridiculous. Those guys will work 18 hours a day and then sleep for 3 hours. And that's why they have those trucker's choice, caffeine pills that they take, because they are doing some crazy hours, but like, when they're done, they get to be like, I helped make Star Wars or The Godfather, you're in that. And here, this is what we see with Halo, especially in 343. We don't get that love. It doesn't feel like there's love in it, you know?
Because the developers aren't treated properly, right? The teams that are only contracted are not treated properly, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's Microsoft. They have trillions of dollars. You can't tell me that they can't full-time hire a good chunk of these people. I'm not saying they have to hire every single person. I get that, right? It's again one of those necessary evils, unfortunately, where there is going to be contract work, especially because you need, because most people when they enter contract work, it's mostly to prove that they know what they're talking about and that they do a good job and everything. But there should still be a promise and not this thing that gets kicked down the road every single time that they will be able to get that full-time position. And this shouldn't be like a extreme thought or anything like that. It's like, come on, don't you want your fellow human being to have a good life? That way all of us can have time off when we need it, be able to work a good job, support a family, all that stuff. That I don't think that sounds that bad in my personal opinion. Right.
Yeah.
And again, that could be another topic for an entire different podcast / video. So anyway, just real quickly though, do you think Halo survives this in terms of the Infinite, I should say? Do you think let's say by 2020, end of 2023, do you think this game still continues or do you think they'll pull the plug?
I hope it does.
If Forge doesn't take off, then it's done. That's how I look at it.
Save the game.
If Forge is good and people come back because of Forge, which is maybe But because at this point, people might just be like, I don't care about Forge. I want to play the game. Like Forge is fun, but like I want to be able to play the game and have progress, right? Progression's a big thing.
The thing with Forge though is they need to have those social features, right? If they don't have their servers working, they don't have those social features to promote the most popular maps and everything like that, right? If they don't have that from the moment it's released in this beta form,
then it's done.
It's done.
I think Forge has a strong chance, especially because this game, the multiplayer is free to play, because of that, and it's on PC, right? Like, because one thing I'll really give this game credit for, and even all the devs that have worked on it, is that it feels good. Like, gameplay. I know that there's some issues, right? Some bug issues, but just like core gameplay feels good. That's like the biggest problem.
And everyone says that, right? Everyone,
Like Battlefield 2042 is unsalvageable because the base gameplay is broken. It's trash. It's not good. But this game has a strong foundation, kind of like Anthem, where it's like the gameplay is very enjoyable. It feels good, and I like it. It's just that it's missing a lot of what a game requires today to be even just adequate, to even worth your time. And it just doesn't have that right now.
Yeah, and JC in chat brings up that I think it looks worse when you cancel features that people are glitching into the game, proving it's possible and not hard.
Oh yeah, the split screen co-op.
The split screen co-op is in the game. People are just glitching into it, even on the Xbox One, and it works fine. And they're like, why isn't this just released?
It's because of that technical debt, the code debt that we talked about earlier, right? It's because of how the game is built and made and everything like that. If the game was made properly and given them those developers that were there past 16 months and could build upon what they knew already and not have to constantly reteach it to the new people coming in, I guarantee you it would be a lot better. It seriously would. And you would see things like couch co-op. You would see all these things earlier because they're not having to break apart the entire game and rebuild it. No, it's just, okay, let me just take this one little bit out. Let me just dab it down there a little bit. Okay, boom. Now you're good to go. Right? Like really every other game.
That's real. Like they really did cancel that.
Not only did they delayed. Not only did they cancel it, not only did they cancel it, but they canceled it after they specifically said, we will have in every Halo game from now on local co-op because it is a staple of the franchise after not having it in Halo 5.
Yep.
That's
and to anyone who says that most people play online, yes, you are technically right. Most people do play online, but you want to know who the original Halo players were back in the day? There are people our generation now who are starting to have kids and families, and they want to get their kids into those games. How do you play with your little 5-year-old or 10-year-old or anything like that, right? Sit on a couch, play some code.
And you know what? Think about that is like they're basically telling you, oh, you want to play Halo with your friends or your kids? You better buy 2 Xboxes.
Yep.
I hate that.
Yeah, and remember, there's a casual audience out there.
There's a huge casual audience.
That's another thing too. Like that. I mean, I shouldn't say there is a huge one. That it is probably the bigger one, right? I think we can all say that. So like, you got to keep that in mind. Like features like the couch co-op thing, and like for the hardcore, it doesn't matter, right? Or why would that be a big issue? But for the casuals out there, it's
a big issue.
Yeah, that's a big thing. That's a huge
I would love
thing for
to
them. So
like it.
I got to keep that in mind.
I would love to take even on your computer, right? That's in the loft, Chin. Take and have us both grab an Xbox controller, boot up Halo Infinite on Legendary, and be able to sit there and play it and have beers in the loft. That would be super cool.
That's
right?
What I'm saying. And think of today's age where most people live with roommates.
Yeah. I used to play split screen games with my buddy on his Xbox One.
And that's how the competitive scene gets built, right? You have all these good social modes and features and everything like that, and then people realize, oh, we could do this competitively or something like that. And that's where the original competitive scene came from. Not this. It started as competitive. Even ex-Bungie developers, ex-Halo developers from back in the day have gone online and been like, they basically called 343 out and been like, what are you guys smoking? This is what it was. Then it became this because of what we made. Like they've literally called them out online and everything like that. So it's just like
imagine like Smash, the next Smash, if there's a next Smash came out and was like, yeah, you can only play online.
Oh God.
Imagine only playing online.
That would be so
that would kill it. Like, no one would buy it. No one would buy it, especially because Nintendo's online is crappy. So
take that out. You could.
Yeah, you couldn't. You
can't take that out.
No, that's the thing, because it's part of the franchise, just like with Halo.
So for anyone saying that split screen for Halo, it doesn't work. It's like, then why does it work for Smash? Why does it work for these other games where it's a staple?
Like
and
Mario
those
Kart.
games are still
Me and Shane
selling
could play
well.
Mario Kart. You know?
Even Call of Duty implemented split screen.
Yeah.
Like
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Call of Duty has
Yeah,
always been like
Mario
a single
Kart,
player.
Smash Brothers, dude. I play that game. I play Mario Kart with my girlfriend whenever she comes over sometimes because she's really into watching some of the Japanese Mario Kart hardcore streamers and everything like that. She's like, "You want to play some Mario Kart?" I'm like, "Sure." Boot it up. Got 2 controllers. Play split screen on my my screen, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Easy.
It's easy, right?
Easy.
And the Switch can handle it. The freaking Switch.
But not only that, it's already done in Halo Infinite. Like that's the thing. Like just let it out. Yeah, sure, it's buggy. The whole game's buggy. Like, come on. Like the whole thing has been a mess. Like, what is this gonna make it more mess?
I don't know.
And what are you gonna do?
They should have held the game for release then, if that was the case. I mean,
It should have been another year.
That is
And
the
that's
other whole argument, right? Is like at this point, this is what goes to show when you release your game when it's clearly not time to be released. It's not ready.
Not even
Because now you're just having all of this. And another thing too is like Tallen, back to just your main thing was like, will they fix it and everything? Will it get better? It has to. Like this is the flagship title. This is Halo we're talking about here, right? The biggest association of gaming with like Microsoft and Xbox.
Yep.
This is important.
A flagship.
This cannot, like, this is the flagship. Like, this is not the game that you can let it. I mean, yes, it's going downhill, but you can't just scrape it off. You can't just end it and be like, okay, yeah, we're done with it. We just couldn't. No. It has to be the game that no matter how much they trudge and we just sit here and bash it, because that's probably what's going to happen. They have to keep, adding the stuff to it. It has to keep doing a thing. But will it get to levels of what it used to be? Oh my God, probably not. But, it will never go away though. Put it that way. It's not going to die anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's supposed to get back to where it was supposed to be. I mean,
That was the point.
everyone was
Yep,
so
that
excited.
was the whole point of Infinite.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yep.
Anyway, Tallen, you're going to Tokyo Game Show, right? I don't want to talk about this sad state of the game anymore.
So why don't we end on a quick high note real quick? So if you guys, again, make sure you follow us over on the 59 Direct Twitter. Link is down in the description below. But I have the absolute privilege of being able to go to Tokyo Game Show this upcoming Thursday and Friday, which are the press days. So I don't have to, I won't be around all of the like cosplay and the huge crowds and everything like that. This is the first time Tokyo Game Show will be in person after 3 years of being online, right? So I'm going to be recording and interviewing as much as I possibly can for different games. I'm going to hopefully be able to see and play Final Fantasy 16, some of the other Final Fantasy games like Crisis Core Reunion and all that stuff. Get to see some new trailers. I get to see some stuff from Sony, Bandai, you name it. I'm going to be able to see all of that. So if you guys have anything that you want us to particularly cover in terms of games and everything like that, let us know in the comments down below or in the live chat or again over on Twitter. I will be sending as many pictures over there as possible throughout the 2 days that I'm there. Time zones, most people probably won't see it till they wake up. But regardless, I'm super hyped and excited. I haven't been to Tokyo Game Show in over 3.5 years because of just, again, the pandemic and everything like that. But I'm super excited to go. So I'm personally, I'd say my top game I'm excited to see is going to be the Reunion game. I want to see more of that. Hopefully get to play it a little bit. Is there anything you guys want me to, in terms of you three, is there anything that you particularly want me to try and grab as much footage as possible when it comes to any games?
Maybe
Zelda
decides to show something cool about Forspoken.
Okay.
Damn it, I was going to beat Chin to the joke.
Okay, so Forspoken, yeah. Okay.
I wanted so bad to be like, yeah, can you get like extra Forspoken stuff for Chin? But never mind, you freaking took it away from
Sorry.
me. Damn you, Chin.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was so excited. I was like,
thunder.
that's right there. It was the tip of my tongue.
I'm not trying to joke. I'm just like, give me Nintendo, Talon. Like, we need Pokemon, we need Zelda. Let's go. Let's go. Are they there?
I don't know. I don't think they are. They weren't there last
They're
year.
not there?
No, I don't think they are. Because remember, Nintendo's always been about their direct stuff. That's all
They're direct.
That's all they've done. I mean, they don't even go to E3. They're going to go to E3. I mean, I know Tokyo Game Show's in Japan and Nintendo's from Japan, but
Nintendo best birthday present ever is if you go like, hey, by the way, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker are coming to Switch.
Hey,
on, like,
I was gonna say,
I
speak of direct.
if I see anything like that, don't worry. You guys will be the first to know. I'm gonna be like, guys, it's real. I'll flip my phone, selfie with it behind me, and be like, check it out.
Oh, and then you rush Miyamoto and get his autograph for me.
I'm gonna try and talk to as many people as I have.
Just take your hat off and hand it to him, and then you send me that hat, Talon.
Giving you my hat. This is my precious hat.
All right, and then I'll buy you a replacement hat.
Fine. All right, that's $40.
Yeah, it'll have your 5'9" Avatar on it. That'd be
There you
cool.
go.
Do we still?
But no,
Tallen wearing Tallen.
I literally I got the case yesterday. I have a case. I got 50 plus business cards ready to go for those 2 days to talk to as many people as I possibly can.
5.9
Network the whole 9 yards. So it's gonna be fun. So
5.9 direct bandana.
there we go.
Sweatband.
Why a bandana? It is not 1985 anymore, my man.
Pirate man.
All right. I think with that being said, though, we've covered all the topics that we wanted to talk about today, all of the big gaming news that's going out and everything. If you haven't caught up on all of the extra stuff that was announced during the Disney stuff and the Assassin's Creed showcases from Ubisoft, we have videos up on the channel, so go ahead and check those out if you haven't already. I gotta personally say, finally going to Japan for Assassin's Creed. Code Red. Take as much fucking time as you want, Ubisoft. If you mess this up, I swear to God, you might as well sell the franchise. That's not a joke, by the way.
Seriously.
So
Yeah, really though.
Yeah.
Mirage looks good though. Just
Mirage
wanna put that
looks
out there.
good,
Mirage,
yeah.
Mirage looks really good. I'm
It
actually
do- it
really
does look-
excited.
it does
Mirage
look
looks
alright.
good,
I'm excited.
and make sure Code Red is not
15.
like that Odyssey and Valhalla
Mhm.
stuff. Make it a good Assassin's Creed game. Do it.
Yep.
Just
They
do
said the
it.
game is only what, $50? I think it's like 15 to 20 hours or something like that. It's
Okay,
super linear. I'm
make
like,
it Black
yes,
Flag
make it
2.
good, make it
Black
good
Flag
again. I'm
2.
like,
Okay,
please.
I know we're about to finish, but like that is one thing I actually wanted to say was that I really like that that's $50 because I always hate this idea that because it's first party it has to be $70. I'm like, why can't game prices be based off like the content you're getting? Like, right? Like if I'm getting sure it's a AAA studio, but if they're making a game that's 20 hours,
20 hours,
25
yeah.
hours, make it $40-$50 instead of 70. Like, come on.
I
Like,
agree with you, but I just paid another $100 for Last of Us, so
Yeah, where's that review, Bobby? We want to see that. Make sure you sub
I'm
for that.
getting there. There's
Oh.
really cool accessibility
Cam?
features that I'm
Cam,
trying out.
I
that
will-
I've
I
told Chin
will-
about.
Cam, I'm gonna say this. So Valhalla
Odyssey,
itself,
booty hole.
it's a fine game, right? It is not an Assassin's Creed game, though. Yes, they have
I think it's the
sprinkled
farthest
little
from.
Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
lore and stuff like that into it. It is not an Assassin's Creed game. They even said, I remember back in the promotional stuff that, hey, we're bringing back the Hidden Blade and all that stuff. But the stealth mechanics and all that is so wonky. It is not the way Assassin's Creed is supposed to be.
Nah, that's
Okay,
Odyssey.
it is not. Okay,
No,
yeah.
that's honestly.
Odyssey wasn't good.
Odyssey is
I
just,
I will agree. Odyssey's bad.
Odyssey is bad.
Odyssey's actually bad.
It is just.
I played like
ugh,
3
no, thank
hours
you.
and I was like, no more.
Yeah,
I can't with
yeah,
this
they
game.
padded it out so much. I want my hidden blades. I want my hoods. I want my
Yeah.
running across the rooftops. I want my assassination.
Odyssey is
That's
just
what
The Witcher,
people
yep.
know for Assassin's Creed.
And the parkour is so
that's my thing.
bad in the newer ones too. Like it,
Yeah.
like Odyssey, the parkour just didn't feel.
No, the parkour was
Good.
garbage. Yes.
Oh yeah, I
Yes.
played Origins
Yes,
and I was like,
Cam.
ooh.
Yes,
Cam.
Ezio
Brotherhood
Trilogy,
is still the
Brotherhood.
goat. Brotherhood
Yes,
is
my
really-
man.
Brotherhood is
There we
really
go.
good.
Revelations the
Love you,
most.
Cam.
I think I did.
Black Flag would like a word, Cam.
I thought
Sorry.
Constantinople was.
Listen,
pretty
it's
awesome.
the older ones that are just like
Constantinople was
so
great.
good.
I mean, the entire Ezio Trilogy was great. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh,
The entire,
yes, yes.
the entire
Of course.
Ezio
I love
Trilogy.
it.
Assassin's Creed 2 when I remember Bobby
Eek.
bringing his Xbox over one time and he was just playing.
See, I had a
Assassin's
fucking
Creed 2.
Xbox back in the day.
You did
Until two of them died on me.
He had his Xbox and he played Assassin's Creed 2 and I was like blown away. I was like, what is this magical world you're in? What is this game?
Dude, I 100% platinumed the Ezio Trilogy when they originally came out.
I just-
Two,
Trilogy, I did
Brotherhood,
too, yeah.
and Revelation. I platinumed them all, and I'm so proud of that. Because
You
guess
should do
what?
that on the
2 was
Ezio
my
collection.
First platinum ever. That's why I'm the Platinum-Chin because I have at least I think I have like 7 platinums or something like that.
Dude, I got 18.
Not a lot.
Get on my
That
level,
is-
bro. Get on my
yeah,
level.
that's not a lot of platinums, man. I think
Yeah,
Lethal
that's-
got 7
I
platinums
think
last
I have-
month.
I'm no trophy. man.
I might have. Shh, don't say that. I might have.
All right.
man.
With that being
I
said,
think
though,
that's
guys, let's hear
a
your
little
thoughts.
lull right there.
Yeah, let's
We're
hear your
tired.
thoughts. Yeah, oh, dude, I'm
We're all
personally. I've been
tired.
since 5
Yeah,
a.m.
I'm
for
tired,
meetings
too.
and stuff, so I'm ready to go to bed. So.
I'll be honest.
yeah.
If y'all do a podcast this week, I'm gonna let the audience know. Probably not gonna be here. It's launch week for the new iPhone.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't think we're doing
He's
one
got to
this week.
sleep in.
I don't
Yeah, we're
think
probably gonna
I
skip
don't
a
think
week.
we're gonna do a podcast this week because I'm gonna be at Tokyo Game Show, so I can't.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
Tallen and Tom won't be here. It'll be
Yeah,
after
The
he comes
podcast on
back.
Tallen, you're the host.
Yeah, I'm the host and I can't even be here for it. So, it is what it is. So, anyway, guys, let's hear your thoughts down below, though, in terms of all of the stuff that we talked about, whether it's Microsoft and Sony, Halo, Tokyo Game Show stuff coming up. What are you most excited for? Did you get to see our pack stuff and our coverage from that? Let's hear your thoughts on that as well. And again, sub to the channel if you happen to be new. Like the video if you happen to like it as always. And again, follow us on the daily for updates and everything on the 59 Direct Twitter. I've been Tallen with 59 Direct, joined by, again, the crew, Lethal, LittleBobby, and the ThePlatinumChin. See you guys in the next one. Johnny.